I grew up with my mom. She, single mom, 5 kids, all different dads. So it was a little messy at times. It wasn't all bad. It was ups and downs. My mom was an alcoholic. So there was times where she was around and times where she wasn't. But when she was there, she was doing her best. But in my teens, I started smoking weed with my older brother and my friends, and we got in a lot of trouble. And that carried on for a long time. And then towards my later teens, probably 16, 17-ish, I started to dabble a little bit and have some drinks. And I remember how I'd have a few drinks and it would just it would make feelings of inadequacy just evaporate. And I just had this, it just gave me a confidence and almost like a forget all that stuff kind of an attitude. And I just really rode with that for a long time. And I had my first son when I was in towards the end of my alcoholism. And that was a big, big mess. But then I was into another relationship not too long after, and I had a little girl, and I remember they were leaving. She was leaving me. It was a big emotional thing going on, and that was probably my rock bottom. She was leaving with the baby, and she was 6 months old, and that's when I reached out to my dad, who's a member of AA at the time, and I just said, I need help. Alcoholism's weird. It's like a mixture of high ego and low self-esteem, and so but as time went on, what happened was I landed in a men's step group, and then I started to work the steps, and that's when I was introduced to God. I worked those steps, and I stayed clean and sober all the way up. I started in 2009, Alcoholics Anonymous. And I had a divorce, so that my daughter's mom and me, we were together for a long time. It was rocky, it was really up and down, and then we just kind of went our separate ways. And it was in that divorce where I'm still sober, I'm still a member of AA, but I just started to need more. The meetings wasn't doing it. And I remember missionaries reached out to me one time. It was the Mormon church, and they started with the Bible. So they introduced me to Christ, but they also introduced me to the Book of Mormon. And so along the way as I was there, I always had doubts, and there was no real conviction there. It's it wasn't home. And so I left and I bounced around. I had a new partner. We had another little girl during this time, and I moved out to Maple Ridge, and I wasn't attending meetings as much. It was a new area. I wasn't happy. I was visiting a couple of churches that my friends would invite me to, and they just didn't fit. I was going to meet a guy on Marketplace, and I was buying a cell phone, and mine was dying, and we were standing there forever, and we're transferring the data, and it was 40 minutes, and we just started talking, and he was a member of the church, and he started asking me questions and taking me down these avenues, and it was just such a great conversation. And then at the end of the conversation, he invited me. He's like, you should come out to my church. And I'm like, which one's that? And then he told me the Ridge Church, and I was like, okay. And so I came, and I walked in, and I saw it, and I loved the worship music and everything that was going on, and it felt good. I think that's when I really started to start asking more questions about Christ, and that's when the Alpha course came up. The discussion through Alpha, the videos, the learning, the discussion, what really started to open me up to it. And then it was through the prayer, the group prayer, and praying out loud for the first time. And there was a few things that went on. And then the Holy Spirit weekend was coming up, and there were some reasons why I wasn't going to go to the weekend part because of my family. And so what happened was Pastor Dan at Ridge Church, he set up a group of us to go over to North Langley Community Church. I can remember sitting there, and it was really big. It was a couple of hundred people, and we had our table, and Pastor Matthew Price. So there had been some things that went on, and then after a while he came up and the lights kind of went dim, and then he started to talk, and he started talking about what it meant to become a Christian, and he said he was going to walk us through a prayer. And if we wanted to follow along and say it with him or come up and do it with him, he said he was going to call upon the Lord and really show us how to do it. And he did that, and I followed along with him, and I said that prayer. And I just remember waves of emotions coming over me and goosebumps on my skin. I fully believe that at that moment is when I accepted Jesus Christ into my heart and into my life. And it just felt like ever since that day, my life's been on fire, and just it's affected me at work, it's affected me in my family, it's just made me feel on fire for life in all the right ways. My name is Josh, and this is my story of new life.
Good morning. morning and happy Easter, Ridge Church. I'm here with Josh, who it has just been such a privilege to get to walk alongside and see the journey that God has him on. And we're so excited to see him proclaim his faith in Jesus today. So Josh, just have a couple of questions. One, do you admit that you are a sinner and that sin has separated you from God?
Yes.
And do you believe in Jesus, the Son of God, who came and lived and died and rose again, and that his work on your behalf is what saves and reunites you to God?
Yes.
Do you commit by your baptism today that you want to follow Jesus with all that you have and all that you are until he returns or calls you home?
Yes.
And it is my great honor and privilege to baptize you today in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.